Mozambique, the African paradise you might not know yet. Nestled on the southeastern coast of Africa, Mozambique is a hidden gem that many travelers overlook. But those who do venture here are rewarded with stunning landscapes, rich history, and vibrant culture. Mozambique. It's a country, you guys, a place where the Indian Ocean kisses the shore, creating some of the most breathtaking beaches you'll ever see. In Africa. Look it up. This country is not just a dot on the map. It's a vibrant, living tapestry of cultures and histories. No, really, get that dusty atlas out. Or, fine, Google it. You'll find a land rich in natural beauty and historical significance. This place is beautiful. Beaches? Check. Wildlife? Check. Imagine walking along pristine shores, with the sound of waves crashing, and the sight of exotic birds flying overhead. History so rich it makes your average European monarchy look like a startup? You better believe that's a check. From ancient ruins to colonial architecture, Mozambique is a historian's dream. We're talking centuries of stories here, folks. Stories of ancient empires, trade routes, and cultural exchanges that have shaped the nation. From ancient empires you've never even heard of to colonial power struggles to, well, let's just say Mozambique has seen some things. It's a land where history is etched into every stone and whispered in the winds. But, like a true survivor, it's come out the other side, ready to take on the 21st century. Today, Mozambique is a blend of the old and the new, where tradition meets modernity. Think of this essay as your crash course on all things Mozambican. We'll dive deep into its past, explore its present, and even take a peek into its future. We'll cover the highs, the lows, and everything in between. From the struggle for independence to the vibrant cultural festivals that light up the streets today. By the end, you'll be able to dazzle your friends with your newfound knowledge. Imagine dropping some Mozambique trivia at your next gathering, and watching everyone's eyes light up, or at least not stare blankly when someone mentions Maputo at a cocktail party. You'll be the go-to person for all things Mozambique. So, buckle up, Buttercup, we're going on a journey. A journey that will take us through time and space, from the ancient past to the bustling present. To Africa, to history, to the heart of Mozambique, where every corner has a story to tell. To, well, you get the idea. Let's dive in and discover the wonders of Mozambique together. Okay, history buffs, let's rewind. Way back, we're diving deep into the annals of time to a period long before the first European explorers set sail. I'm talking long before the first Portuguese caravel showed up, back when Europe was still figuring out this whole civilization thing. While Europe was in its medieval phase, Africa was already thriving with its own rich and diverse cultures. See, Mozambique wasn't just sitting around waiting for someone to discover it. This land was a hub of activity, innovation, and culture. This land was already buzzing with activity. Ancient markets were bustling and early civilizations were laying down roots. We're talking ancient empires like the Kingdom of Zimbabwe and the Mutapa Empire. These were powerful and sophisticated societies with their own systems of governance and trade. These guys were trading gold, ivory, you name it. They had extensive trade networks that reached far and wide, connecting them with other parts of Africa and beyond. They were like the OG African power players, leaders and warriors who commanded respect and wielded significant influence. We're talking impressive stone cities, complex social structures, the whole shebang. Their architectural prowess was evident in the grand structures they built. These early societies were masters of ironwork, agriculture, and trade. They developed advanced techniques in metalworking and farming that sustained their communities. They laid the foundation for the vibrant cultural tapestry that is Mozambique today. The traditions and practices from those times still influence the rich cultural heritage of modern Mozambique. Unfortunately, much of their story has been lost to the mists of time. The remnants of their civilizations are often hidden beneath layers of history, or the lack of good record keeping. Many records have decayed or been lost, making it challenging to piece together their full history. But trust me, these guys were the real deal. Their legacy lives on in the cultural and historical fabric of Mozambique, a testament to their enduring impact. Fast forward a few centuries and who shows up? The Portuguese. Surprise! They were kind of obsessed with finding a sea route to India, and Mozambique, well, it was right there. Convenient, right? Thus began Portugal's long, and let's be honest, often exploitative relationship with Mozambique. We're talking 4 centuries of colonial rule here, folks. It wasn't pretty. Think forced labor, suppression of local cultures, the whole colonial playbook. Of course, the Portuguese did leave their mark. Literally. They built cities, forts, and churches, all with that distinctive Portuguese flair. They also brought their language, their religion, and let's not forget their love of peri-peri chicken. It's complicated, okay? But here's the thing about colonialism, it never ends well for the colonized, and Mozambique was no exception. Section 4. The long and winding road to freedom. By the mid-20th century, the winds of change were blowing across Africa. The continent was awakening to a new dawn, a dawn of self-determination and sovereignty. The spirit of independence was infectious, spreading from one nation to another like wildfire. People had had enough of colonial rule. They wanted their freedom, they wanted their land, and they wanted to reclaim their cultural identity. The desire for self-governance was palpable, and the streets were filled with the voices of those demanding change. They wanted their peri-peri chicken without having to say obrigado. The everyday joys of life, the simple pleasures, were all tied to the larger struggle for freedom. In Mozambique, the fight for independence was led by a group called Frelimo, the Front for the Liberation of Mozambique. This group was composed of brave souls who dared to stand up to the Portuguese Empire, risking everything for the dream of a free Mozambique. These were not just rebels. They were visionaries and freedom fighters. They organized, strategized, and mobilized the masses, creating a formidable force against colonial oppression. These guys were the real deal, fighting in the jungles, organizing protests, and engaging in guerrilla warfare. They were relentless, and their determination was unbreakable. They made life very difficult for the colonial authorities, who were unprepared for the level of resistance they encountered. The struggle was intense, and the stakes were incredibly high. The struggle was long and bloody, marked by numerous battles and significant sacrifices. Many lives were lost, and the landscape of Mozambique was forever changed by the conflict. But finally, in 1975, Mozambique won its hard-fought independence. The victory was a testament to the resilience and courage of its people. It was a time of great joy and even greater hope. The streets were filled with celebrations, and the air was thick with the promise of a brighter future. A new nation was born, ready to write its own destiny. The people of Mozambique had taken the first step on a long journey towards building a nation that reflected their dreams and aspirations. Section 5. When brother fought brother, Mozambique's civil war. Sadly, Mozambique's troubles didn't end with independence. Just when it seemed like things were looking up, the country plunged into a brutal civil war. It was a complex conflict, fueled by Cold War tensions, regional rivalries, and, let's be honest, some good old-fashioned power struggles. For 16 long years, Mozambique was torn apart by violence. Millions were displaced, the economy was shattered, and the country's hard-won progress was put on hold. It was a dark chapter in Mozambique's history, a stark reminder that freedom, once won, must never be taken for granted. Section 6. Picking up the pieces. Rebuilding a nation. By the early 1990s, both sides were exhausted. The war had achieved nothing but destruction and despair. It was time to rebuild. And that's exactly what the Mozambican people did. They laid down their arms, embraced peace, and started the long and difficult process of reconciliation. It wasn't easy. The scars of war ran deep. But slowly and steadily, Mozambique began to heal. The government implemented economic reforms, invested in education and healthcare, and worked tirelessly to attract foreign investment. And slowly, oh so slowly, things started to improve. Section 7. Mozambique today, challenges and opportunities. So, where does Mozambique stand today? Well, it's a country on the move, that's for sure. It's still facing challenges, of course. Poverty, inequality, and corruption remain major obstacles. But there's also a sense of optimism in the air. The economy is growing, democracy is taking root, and the country is finally starting to realize its vast potential. Mozambique is a country with a rich history and a bright future. It's a land of stunning natural beauty, vibrant culture, and resilient people. So, the next time you're looking for an adventure, why not give Mozambique a try? You might just be surprised by what you find.